Yes.
All right.
So,
Namaskar.
namaskar, and a very, very good evening to all of you who are with us this evening. A nice group of people. I believe it's a big crowd for us. We have had complete full registration, so we are really looking forward for more and more people joining us. Maybe we could. One second. Yeah. You might want to disable this thing. We could do that. We can any people can join in. People can join in as and when. So a very, very warm welcome to Tawfiq Bhai Qureshi and to Shikhar Nath. Good evening, and thank you so very much for accepting our humble invitation to be part of a big celebration that kind of got dampened because of the whole situation that we are all in. Having said that, like I've been saying, that our spirits haven't been dampened, and we have people like you who are allowing us to stay in that happy space because we are 10 years old. We are a small little setup, but we are happy that we are 10 years old. So over to Prasad, who will be starting this evening's goings on. Prasad.
Thank you, Manjushri. And Tawfiq Bhai and Shikarnath, very, very hearty and warm welcome. It is, in fact, exactly 5 years since Shikhar came to our school. It was 10th of October 2005, and Shikhar might remember he had a very, very warm dialogue with our students. Our students will still remember Shikhar's visit. So thank you again for being here. It's a big, big honor for us that the first family of percussion.
Hello.
Prasad, your net.
Okay, I just want to start with a few lines.
Yeah, your voice had gotten still. Your voice and your video.
Is it better?
Much better.
Is it better? The voice is better. Yeah. So Tawfiq Bhai, for this occasion today, I have actually written a few lines. So आपकी इजाज़त हो तो I'll start with those few lines, and then we can proceed. So the title is खुदा के बंदे, and it starts. बरसों बीत गए खुदा की खोज में, बरसों बीत गए खुदा की खोज में, एक दिन खुदा ने कह ही दिया, क्यों जाया करता है अपनी जिंदगी जब मेरे बंदे तेरे साथ है, मेरे बंदों के करीब घर तू जाएगा, हमेशा मुझे आसपास पाएगा, अपनी खुदा के बंदों के साथ चंद पल बिताने की तमन्ना, यही है खुदा से असली दुआ, यही है खुदा से असली दुआ. So thank you, and we are very, very honored that two such Khuda ke bande are with us today. I mean it with all humility, because of the legacy that Tawfiq Bhai and Shikarnath bring to the table. I'll start the evening with a brief introduction about Tawfiq Bhai. And Tawfiq Bhai, I'm referring to you as Tawfiq Bhai because your entire family feels so close to all of us in India. So please permit me that kind of liberty. So Tawfiq Qureshi is an ace percussionist of India, referred to as a game changer, exceptionally versatile percussionist, and the worthy torchbearer of a rich legacy of percussion. He's the son and disciple of the legendary tabla maestro Ustad Allar Khan, Abaji, as he's known to all of us in the music field, and the brother of maestro Ustad Zakir Hussain, by whom he has been greatly influenced. Tawfiq Bhai has been fortunate to have received guidance from Ghattam Vidwan, Pandit Vikuji Vinayakram. Tawfiq Bhai's performances showcase the traditional flavor and intricacies of Indian rhythm, interwoven with the sparkle of his phenomenal command over contemporary world percussions. Tawfiq Bhai has pioneered and developed a distinct technique of playing the African percussion instrument djembe in the context of Indian rhythmic compositions. It is solely to Tawfiq Bhai's credit that today the djembe is making its presence felt on the music and concert scene in India. He has designed a new language as a bridge to transpose the traditional tabla repertoire onto this non-Indian instrument. His version of the djembe is inspiring a whole new breed of percussionists in India. Tawfiq Bhai's trademark style of using his in and out breath and incorporating to create unique rhythmic motifs spanning across cultures has become a trend, as does everything that the first family of percussion actually does. So everything that they do becomes a trend. Tawfiq Bhai's album Ridun, and Tawfiq Bhai, I must say that this is a beautiful name. We got to know about it. I mean, we knew about it and we read about it more when we were actually contemplating on this particular program. So beautiful name. Tawfiq Bhai's album Ridun, amongst others, is said to be a benchmark for world music in India way back in the year 2000. Tawfiq Bhai has been featured as a performing artist in the 2009 Grammy Award winning album Global Drum Project. His albums have been released world over and he has performed at prestigious music festivals all over the globe. He has been a recipient of the Gold Award for the Best Music at the Cannes Adfeld Festival and the London International Festival for some of his exemplary advertisement jingles. Tawfiq Bhai has lent a third dimension to many chartbuster songs and background score tracks of the Indian film industry genre of music by virtue of his inimitable sense of rhythm arrangement and feel for sound. Over the last 15 years, he has been imparting training to deserving students, some of whom are now making their mark and carrying forward his work. Thanks once again, Tawfiq Bhai, for gracing this occasion with your presence. We're going to have a lot of gappas and bate, and also we're going to have you play the djembe as well. Over to you, Manjushri, for an introduction of Shikarnath. Manju, your sound.
So Shikharnath is the torchbearer of this legacy that has so many years of hard work behind it. Shikharnath Qureshi is the son and disciple of the percussion maestro Tawfiq Qureshi, grandson of tabla legend Ustad Allah Rakha Khan Sahab, and nephew of the rhythm genius Ustad Zakir Hussain. Shikharnath carries forward the concept pioneered by his father of defining the tabla knowledge onto the African instrument djembe. He is a prolific percussionist. He is a composer and has also contributed to music production. He has been blessed to have performed on stage with legends of Indian classical music such as Vidwan Bhikkhu Vinayak Ramji and Ustad Zakir Hussain. He has also performed with maestros like Louis Banks, Niladri Kumar, Ranjit Barot, Shankar Mahadevan, and Purvayan Chatterjee. Thank you so much, Shikhar. We see that you are, going to be one of the biggest stars in the coming years. You already are one, and it's going to be something to watch your growth in the coming years. So thank you so much to both of you. And let's begin this evening's chat with both of you. So, Prasad.
As anyone from your family, so please forgive me for being being there in the same frame. But as Manju has already told you, this entire series of conversations that we are having with eminent people such as you, we are going to have 10 such. This is the third one. Is basically to apprise children and our students, basically students from Atman, but children all over, as to when a change maker, how does a change maker become a change maker? What happened in his early years, in his or her early years? What was the family background? What was the schooling like? What were the influences that came into his or her life? So I want to start right from the beginning. You come from such a prestigious family of percussion. So how did it all start? I mean, I'm sure you.
It's fantastic. It gives a nice vibe, gives a nice tone also to the sound, and feels good that you're part of some kind of Zen.
Right.
So that's great. And from both Shikhar and myself, I thank you both, and to Atman Academy for having us this evening speaking to you all.
Right, sir.
Just now, Prasad ji, you said you're also a student, and you said, you don't, it's not correct that you should be in the same frame as us. I say no, it's not. That's not true. When you're connected to rhythm, whether it's the tabla or drum or djembe or anything, mridangam, khatam, we are all connected by the bond of rhythm. And so we are all in the same frame. We are in the main frame of the rhythm, which is part of this whole world. So as long as we are part of this big frame, we can be in any frame together.
Right. Thank you.
We are connected. And thank you for reading my biodata from my website.
That was where I was directed towards that. So that's where we were going. Trust me, I will be very honest. We keep knowing how great you are. Reading your biodata, going through your website, I had a jaw drop. I had cold hands and feet yesterday. I said, oh my God, this gentleman is such a big man. We don't even realize, we know you're great.
No, I'm not a big man. Manjushri ji, I have still a long way to go. No. God willing. My only thing is, that's when I go for concerts, when organizers have a kind of a person who reads out biodatas, and what is that person called?
Compare.
So I always tell the compare, you know what, if you're going to talk about me, please finish talking, then invite me on stage, because I don't like to come on stage and I'm wanting to start, and the compare is actually talking about me, so I am tired of hearing of myself.
Well, that's part
but
of
I guess you have to do that for the audience which is joining in.
Right, sir.
So it's really a pleasure to be here now, taking the questions ahead. Prasad ji, you asked many questions.
Sure. How did it all begin?
Yeah, it all began when I was given birth in this great family where Ustad Allah was there and Ustad Zakir Hussain was there. So between me and Zakir Bhai, there is an age of 11 years. So he's like a father figure.
You're the youngest.
I'm the youngest.
Okay.
So I guess my rhythmic journey started the moment I was brought home from the hospital at a very early age, and I was, the tabla was playing in the house all the time. And I grew up to that sound of the beautiful sound of the tabla, which resonated throughout the house. And as a child, I was always attracted to it. I would crawl to it whenever I would see that instrument and start banging on it. So I guess our whole connection to that fabulous instrument, the tabla, my connection started the moment I opened my eyes, and or rather I should say I opened my ears, and the naad of that tabla came into my ears. So that connection happened immediately, and as is in musical families, the training starts off the moment you are connected to that instrument. So even if I wasn't learning, I was learning. That's a way of saying. But even though I wasn't sitting and learning directly, I was learning when students were coming to learn from Abbaji, or my Abbaji was doing riyaz, or Zakir Bhai was doing riyaz. I would crawl and just sit there looking at them, playing, teaching. So I was learning in that sense. And but from a very early age in my life, I was attracted to what I call as the other rhythm, which is the tabla was there, but whenever the radio would start in my house, we didn't have TV, in those days. The radio, some film song would come. I would get attracted to the song, and I would, especially if it was an R.D. Burman song, Panchamda song.
I was going to say that, yeah.
I would go bonkers. I would take this little bongo, I would put it between my legs, and I would imagine as if I'm playing with that orchestra. I'm part of the
sheer variety of various kinds of instruments.
So I was always attracted to the other rhythm, which I call. And there was one album of my father with the great Buddy Rich, great drummer, It was called Rich Allah Rakha. And I was so fascinated by the album. I must have been, what, 6, 7 years old. I would ask my sisters to play that album at least 4, 5 times in a day. I would listen to that album, and not for the tabla, but for that drum sound. What is that drum sound? So an attraction to the other rhythm was always there, and it grew as I grew and I went to school. You know,
Right.
in school I was a very outstanding student. You know, I was always standing out.
Now we're coming to the point. Now that's the fun point.
Never in the class.
And
because
which school was this, Tawfiq bhai?
this is Hillgrange High School. It's shut down. I mean,
Okay.
shutting down had nothing to do with me. I mean, I was a good student. It shut down much later. But it was a
Right.
middle road, and I would be in the class, you know, I would be the backbencher, and I would always be playing on the bench, which was
Right.
applicable for the teachers, so they would always throw me out of the class, and I was very happy to be outside, you know, in the class. That's why I always say I'm outstanding. So my report card was always, you know, I guess I love the color red, because the report card had a lot of red in it.
Yeah, that's why
Red
your website is also red. Now I see the connection.
Yeah, you know,
Such
red.
a lovely red color on your website. Okay,
I've been
now I
fascinated by the color red at a very, very
Early age.
I can see that there is a P over there that's also in red over there. In the
Red.
background. So red is a very favorite color for a lot of us, and for me, in my report card and in my notebooks, the red was like, you know,
Sure.
marks and these things and all that. So my father realized, although my mother wanted me to become something else, my father realized
really?
that I don't think I can do anything with studies. So he told my mother, you know, let me at least teach him, because I see that his chukav is there towards music. So I started learning, and being in the family, I started learning. But as I was growing up, like I said, I was always attracted to the other rhythm. And when I came into college, I met other musicians, whether you're a drummer, a guitarist, a keyboard player. I started understanding world music, you know.
But you did a formal talim in tabla to begin with, right?
Only the tabla. That is the only talim which has happened with me. The tabla is my instrument where I've learned. That's the only thing which I've learned. Other music I have only experienced, and I have learned as a self-learner.
Wow.
You know, whether it's a djembe, which is my favorite instrument now,
Correct.
or the conga, or the drums, everything is a self-learner, because in those days we didn't even have internet and all that, you know, where we can see videos and all. Once in a while, Zakir bhai would bring some video of some maestro, and I would be like, dekhte isko. So wo dekh karke thoda seekhna, ye wo. So I was always attracted to the other rhythm. And as I grew up in college, I explored many percussion instruments like congas, drums, bongo. And as I went ahead in my life, this djembe came into my life. And the moment I actually, it was
so who made that introduction? Sorry,
Zakir bhai gifted me djembe. He said,
really?
You're playing congas and all that. Try this. This is a djembe.
Oh,
so I took it in my hand. This is that djembe, by the way.
Right. So Zakir bhai actually always says that you know, the origin of rhythm and naad is Shankar Bhagwan, and the damru that he had.
Shankar Bhagwan's the damru is what led to the pakhawats.
Correct.
Which was Lord Ganesh's favorite instrument, and the tabla and all of the instruments which came.
And the djembe is actually so much similar to that damru. It's only half
of the cylindrical.
Because of the cylindrical.
So what I'm saying is that when he gifted me the djembe, I didn't connect first. I just said, nice instrument and all that, and then it went in I had this whole gamut of instruments with me. So it was there. And one fine day, while I was working on my album Ritu, which you just said, you know, was a landmark album for me, I realized that I could play certain compositions of the tabla onto this instrument. And that led me to start searching and researching, and I started researching. This is about what 98, 99, and then
Right.
I had rhythm, which changed my life, which really kind of propelled me to a kind of a somewhere up there. And then
Right.
in
Right.
2000, I started touring with Zakir Bhai in the Masters of Percussion tour, and that's when I started
Right.
exploring the djembe on stage. I would
But
do
you were
duet with
actually playing drums also that time.
I was playing drums, yes. My
Right.
standing
Right.
kit,
Right.
the standing kit,
Right.
which is an inspiration of the great percussionist Tulok Gultuji. So
Correct.
I would play that, but of course in a simplistic my own way. And I would set up the djembe, and Zakir Bhai and me would do like a duet, small duet, maybe 7-8 minutes. So it all started from there, playing for 10 minutes, 7 minutes, eight
Wow.
minutes, and it started increasing because my repertoire, me trying to define the tabla knowledge onto the djembe,
On djembe.
started increasing. More bowls started coming into my mind. A lot of things happened. That's a long story because that's another
Wow.
thing. But I'm saying that as I went ahead, my repertoire increased. I did my first djembe solo in 2009, 10 years after I started working on it. And I was given 1 hour, 20 minutes to play. But I only played for 45 minutes. And I remember some people even asking me, why did you play so less? I said, that is all I have right now on the djembe. And I did the djembe solo. So I said, I should honestly speak. I shouldn't give any excuses. I should say,
Right.
नहीं वो थोड़ा ये वो नहीं. It was like यही इतना ही मुझे djembe
इतना
पे
आता
आता
है.
है. But one day I will play a 2 hour solo also. I said to
क्या
them.
बात है.
And with
क्या बात
Appaji's Ashirwad and with God's grace, now I can play a 2 hours. I've done 1.5 to 1 hour, 45-minute djembe solo with Lehra. And I guess
क्या
that
बात
is only because of my Appaji's Ashirwad और मेरे मालिक का रहमो का करम है कि मैं ये कर
क्या
पाऊँ.
बात है. क्या बात है. क्या बात
Over to Shikha.
Sir, a couple of questions to you before I leave. I give it to Manju. How was Abaji as a guru? I mean, as a father, of course, he was there, but he was completely immersed. I mean, he was one with the tabla. I mean, you could not really say that Abaji is different and the tabla is different. He was one with the tabla.
Yes.
So, as a guru, was he strict? And one is that, and how did he take to you being being fond of one instrument which is not the tabla? So can you just shed some light on that?
Of course. I mean, I've shared it many times. I'll share it once again. Appaji, as a father, was very gentle and never getting angry, except maybe just a bit irritated.
Correct.
Always giving, and the only time he ever got angry in his life towards his children was once when he slapped Zakir Bhai. That's a very famous story.
I know that. I know
After
that story.
he kind of, I think it took a vow that he would never get upset with his children, and he stuck to his vow. And he never got upset, angry with us, except a little bit irritable, but that happens. But he was always giving whatever you want, you'll get. But as a guru, he was very strict. Strict with the discipline of Riyaz, which was a very important thing. And he would be very, as a guru, he would be strict from the point of view that if he was teaching us something, if we try to repeat what he has done, then he would be very upset. He would say, don't repeat like a parrot.
क्या बात है.
Whatever I have given, whatever I have thrown at you, try to make something
improvise.
out of it.
Improvise.
Your soul in it. Try to play it from your perspective, your point of view. If you try to play like me, then you are trying to actually teach me how I should play this.
Oh.
क्या बात है.
So he was that strict.
That's the perspective.
Right.
And if he would hate it if we wrote anything in a book. He didn't. He said he would throw a hammer and he hit us. He said, "Are you going to sit on stage with a book? You should."
Wow.
And I guess thanks to him, because of that, the chip inside, I've always said this, the microchip or whatever chip inside became very big, very strong, because we had to remember everything and not read and perform.
Right,
And
right,
I'm
right.
thankful to him because later when I started working in the film industry, as you have said, I worked in the film industry, doing background scores and playing behind film songs. There, everything is written down. And
Correct.
so for me, it was like whatever was shown to me, I would immediately remember it. In fact, certain musicians would be like surprised at how I can remember a whole song pattern, break, pick up, music one pattern, different music two. I said because this is very simple for me.
Upbringing. Yeah, the upbringing.
It's the upbringing. The kind of things that I've learned is very simple for me. So I'm thankful to him. As a guru, he was very strict.
How did he take to your deciding to?
First, he was a bit disappointed because, according to him, he felt that it was कि ये क्या करेगा? He felt that my hand was good.
Correct.
And he said, अभी क्या करेगा तू? I said, Abba ji, मुझे composing में जाना है. I want you to do film music, recording. And he kind of identified with it because he also was a composer in films by the name of Qureshi. So he said, okay, if you want to do that, it's fine. Okay, my Ashirwad is with you. He was never ever, he never forced anything. He was ever, तेरे को ये करना है, तू कर. You want to do this? Like from a very early age, Zakir was doing a lot of experiments over there, you know, doing that Shanti and Bigga Rhythm Band and Shakti and so many other things. He was always supportive of it. So he was always supportive of me also, playing the congas or playing whatever. I used to play Garba. I used to play Dandiya. I used to play in orchestra shows. In fact, I would be out for two months with certain orchestras in 83 and 84, and he was supportive. But somebody in fact told him that the Tawfiq को मैंने देखा, he was playing डांडिया, गरबा बजा रहा था, आपका बेटा डांडिया बजा रहा है. तो अब्बा जी told him वो अपनी मेहनत कर रहा है. तुमको क्या प्रॉब्लम है? मुझे प्रॉब्लम नहीं. He is trying to find his way. He is trying to find his way. और क्या कर रहा है? वो किसी के सामने हाथ थोड़ी फैला रहा है. वो मेहनत कर रहा है. वो मेहनत की कमाई है उसकी. उसको मैं एनकरेज करूंगा कि जो भी करना है तू मेहनत कर रहा है ना बेटा कर. तुमको प्रॉब्लम क्या है? मुझे नहीं है ना प्रॉब्लम. तुम चुप रहो. So that person was.
I really want to draw attention of all the people who are watching this, who are parents, that I think this is such an amazing learning for all of us from Abba ji. You know, this whole business of हमारी नाक कट जाएगी, हमारे में ऐसे नहीं करते, अमचात असा नहीं करत. There's nothing of that. मेहनत कर रहा है बेटा. How good is that? And that is the best and most beautiful thing.
That's the best thing.
It's the
That's the best thing because he was like, you're doing music. Whether it's orchestra, whether it's Dandiya, whether it's classical music, because at those days I was also playing classical music. I was accompanying people like Brij Bhushan Kabra ji, Hari ji, Sultan Khan Sahab. I was playing trio with Abba ji and Zakir Bhai. That also was happening.
Wow.
But I was always, you know, the thirst. What else can I do? How can I evolve as a musician? That led me to do orchestra shows, Dandiya, and everywhere I've learned something. I've always learned something.
And that's made your repertoire so much richer because of all the experiences that I've there. So while we're on the topic of parents, I also want to ask you about your mother, Tawfiq Bhai, because very less is known about her. I just read an article in the Times of India which was talking about how there was chai and paratha always in your kitchen, and you know it was like like an Annapurna. She's always there. And also one thing that was said that she was not very keen that you guys should be in the field because you really had very, very humble beginnings. So like the article was also mentioning about how you come from a mohalla in Mahim, from a very, very, very humble beginning. And that's something that again, I want all my children and everybody to know that today a person who is on this international stage has had the most humble beginnings. So your mother had also wished that you should, study and then take up a job. Kahin job karo, baith lo, job karke baith jao. So tell us something more about her.
Well, she was very keen that I should. I was already playing, but when I joined college, she was like, "Arey, tabla mat karo, tum already तुम्हारे अब्बा बजा रहे हैं, जाकिर बजा रहे हैं, तुम लोगों को कुछ और करना चाहिए." So, but I was already playing. मेरा रियाज चल रहा था. So she said, no, you should do something. And for her happiness, I said, okay, what should I do? She said, why don't you be a customs officer? उसके लिए interest. So you study for IPS and all. I said, okay, I'm just in my 11th now. It's a long way to go. No, you should go. So we knew some customs officer. He was a family. So she told him and he said, okay, मैं इसको लेके जाता हूँ. So I actually one day, I went with him. And in those days, you know, flights used to come late night. अभी भी late night कोई आती है time difference से. So he actually told me, you meet me somewhere, and I met him and he took me to the airport. You know, the Sahar airport had just started in those days. So he took me to the airport and I spent the whole night with him. You know, sitting there, going with him here and there. He was explaining to me कि देखो ये आते हैं तो हमको कैसे देखना पड़ता है ये वो. I tried that, you know.
You did.
Then we had this family friend who was a family photographer. Karanjia, his name was. So she said, "Abhi tum 12th mein ho." So my vacation in my 12th, I went and studied photography. In those days, आजकल जैसा नहीं है. So there has to be a film and there's a development. So I know all that also. Because I studied that. Because she said, maybe you should become a photographer. So for her sake, I tried, but you know, nothing worked for me because all I wanted to do was music. But she was the pillar on which we all stood.
Absolutely.
Including my father.
Yes.
She was the single pillar that held the family afloat.
Together.
You know, because like Manjushri said, we came from a very humble background. Mahin Mohalla, we had a small house. All of us were born in that house, and we were 5 brothers and sisters. And Abaji was doing whatever he was doing, and you know, Zakir Bhai was just starting. But so everything was on Abaji at that time.
I mean, there are.
And in those days, the payment to the tabla player was not, you know, $100, $110, somewhere $75. I'm talking about, you know, 62, 60, till even 70, 71. The beginnings were very humble, you know, the offerings were very humble, and many times my father was very generous with his money. कोई student को या किसी को ज़रूरत है तो उनको दे देना. So my mother would then, you know, started telling organizers that don't give him the money, send it to me, give it to me. I said. So she kind of, and not being connected to music, she understood music so much. She connected with the concept of a musician, how a musician's life is. You know, she came from a small village. She was married at the age of 16 in those days. You know, and yeah, so she came at the age of 16 and a half to Mumbai, which was like all the way from Ramadi village, which is now in Pakistan. From there, you know, she came all the way to Mumbai, which was like in the 40s. It was like, you know, what Mumbai was. And she was in a burqa. She realized that, you know, wearing a burqa is not a very great thing to do. So she kind of, you know, discarded that. So she was very much secular in her thinking. When the daughters were born, she knew that they have to be educated. So she sent them to school, made sure that they go to college, made sure that when I was born, when my brother was born, she said, इनको proper Catholic school में भेजना है, बड़े school में भेजना है, भले fees जो भी हो, she worked and she would जो भी पैसा बचाना, ये करना, हमको पढ़ाई कराई, Xavier's College जैसे college में हमारी दाखिले कराई. So I'm saying she was the pillar. She realized staying in Mahim would not be the right thing for my children because now the times are changing. So in 1969, 1970, she bought a flat in Nepean Sea Road, which was a very posh area even in those days. And at that time, the price of that big house was 1 lakh rupees.
Wow.
How much she saved, she would tell Pandit Ravi Shankar ji that, you know, don't give money to Khansa, money order to me. So money order would come directly. So only give him that much that उनके खर्चे के लिए बाकी ऐसे करके she, because my father was on tour with Pandit Ravi Shankar.
Yeah.
She been to that house.
She has पैसे जमा किए हैं and she moved the family from Mahim to the Nepean Sea Road, made sure that we go to a good school, a good college, and she was always open. Like Zakir Bhai got married to Tony Bhavi, who was a Christian.
Right.
My other brother got married. I got married to Geetika. My other brother got married to a Gujarati. She was never ever. She said that's life. She took life in the stride. No matter what she wanted, whatever her children wanted, she went with them. She went with the children, whether it's music, whether it's marriage, or whether it's anything. She supported the children throughout their life.
Wow. See, this
Even
is like,
settling, my sister got married to somebody in London. So my father and my mother settled them. They helped them a lot to settle in London. So that's also a very big thing,
yeah.
So this is like they've always been behind their children, supporting them, giving
Come
them
what may.
whatever they want.
Whatever they
Come what may, they will have your back.
I'm going to now move to Shikhar, because Shikhar, I would love to hear from you a whole lot of things, and I'd love for all the children to hear about your journey. So Shikhar, I'm going to ask you about your school days. Let me start with school days, because those are something that everybody identifies with. कुछ हो ना हो, बाकी आपकी आगे की जर्नी हम आइडेंटिफाई शायद डायरेक्टली नहीं करेंगे, बिकॉज हम नहीं बजाते आपका इंस्ट्रूमेंट, पर स्कूल तो हम भी आपके जैसे गए हैं. सो वी वुड लाइक टू नो how was it for you in school? Tell me, I want to ask you, because of what I know you in the last 5 years, were you a मस्तीखोर बच्चा in school? Were you ever naughty? मतलब जिंदगी में आपने कभी स्कूल में naughtiness किया है, या you were a very simple go to school boy?
So I was in Balmohan Vidya Mandir in Shivaji Park.
Okay.
And I was a part of the first English medium ever. I mean, they started English medium the year in which I was born, 96.
Yes.
So
Okay.
Yeah. Till then they were a Marathi school. So school life was quite usual and ordinary. It got tougher and tougher during the 9th and 10th standards, as it always gets in terms of studies and all. So I was just a normal student going to school. I used to make sure that I reached early, because I used to get stressed about reaching late and all. I was stressed about studies also, especially during the end of school life. So I had tuitions and all. There were 3 different tuitions and all also during 10th standard specifically.
Okay. That's cool.
So typical school life, and I used to take part in the cultural festivals which we used to have every year. That was the first time I'd actually played with other people also. I was playing drums only, standing kid, and as part of a band in school and all for the cultural festival, and sometimes Bal Din and all used to happen.
Right.
School life was very regular, and it was a smaller school in like there were fewer students in each class, max of like 30 or 40 students in each class. So that was less in terms of what is generated. So each teacher knew each student individually also. So that also helped in building connections. So
what were the subjects that you didn't like in school at all?
But maths was something that always caused a lot of stress. Because I remember during 9th and 10th they had an option of choosing general maths, because the actual maths was quite complicated also sometimes. So I had chosen that, so that it was still the same thing but a little simplified. So but other than that, there was no liking or hating of any subject. It was just that this is something to be done. So that's why doing it.
But a good percussionist, especially on the Hindustani music side, is a good mathematician by nature.
Yeah. So I guess the maths in the book is one thing, but I think you've obviously mastered math beyond anybody.
Math in tabla.
Yeah,
exactly.
That is actually much closer to arithmetic. The rhythmic kind of counting and all.
Correct.
Yeah, that is. Of course, the maths in school was quite different, so that took a while to understand and all. But yeah, maths in terms of music and rhythm especially, of counting and laying one rhythmic pattern over another one if they're in different time signatures. Yeah, all that naturally flowed and naturally came, and all that was a very enjoyable experience. Is a very enjoyable experience.
Right.
So
Shikhar, you also started with the tabla, or you started
yes. I also started learning tabla only at the age of 8.5, 9 years old, and was playing tabla for long time, till almost 16, 17, and then I just naturally transitioned on to djembe and other percussions and
Tawfiq,
drums.
I actually wanted to ask one thing that you play the na or tha with your left hand on the djembe.
I'm a
So
lefty.
that, both of you are lefty? That's what I wanted to ask, in fact. Shekhar is also
Yes,
a
yes, yes.
left hand.
Yeah, lefty, lefty.
Right. That's what I was in
Yeah,
fact telling
हम
you.
लोग दोनों खब्बे हैं, खब्बे.
What is
Yeah.
What does
that?
that mean?
What is that?
What does that mean?
The tabla language, whoever is lefty is known as a khabba.
Khabba.
Ah,
Oh,
Khabba. Yeah.
chalo, new learning, new
Khabba
learning.
मतलब
new learn.
जैसे वो how the Americans say southpaw. Whoever is lefty, they always say
Southpaw.
southpaw, right?
Southpaw.
Hmm.
In the other
तो
hand.
वैसे हम लोगों को
But
खब्बा बोलते
I always say that left-handed people are the most gracious and the stylish people anywhere in every field.
If you look at us and if you feel that we are very stylish and gracious, then please change the meaning of that word.
When playing.
So, Shikhar, I want to also ask you, you went through college, and when I
Yes.
last met you long back, I know there was this major existential dilemma that every college going student has, you know. So, when did you kind of completely crystallize on the fact that, okay, ab yahan se aage, this point forward, I would also like to follow on the footsteps of dad and, you know, make djembe like my raison d'etre, like you might want to call it, like ye mujhe karna hai aage jaake. When did that happen, and what were the thoughts that you went through? You know, was there any pressure inside of your mind कि अब इतने लोगों क्या lineage मैं लेके आ रहा हूँ तो मुझे ये करना है आगे? Did that happen? Were you stressed?
No, so there was never any pressure or anything that was exerted from the family, from the family point of view. There was never any like the conscious pressure or realization of the legacy or anything like that. And in terms of choosing as a profession, yeah, I mean from childhood only it was always there only that I want to become a musician only upon growing up, and that was always there throughout school and college life and all. That was always there that music is only going to be the ultimate outcome and profession as per se. And after I spent 2 years in St. Xavier's College, 11th and 12th, and after that I did my degree externally through the IDOL in Mumbai University. That's Institute of Distance and Open Learning.
Oh.
So my degree, that is BA Arts degree, I did I did externally, just going to the university to give the exams, and but I spent 2 years of proper college life attending Xavier's and taking part in Malhar also during 11th standard, which is the Xavier's annual festival. And yeah, so it was after 12th that naturally I fell into the professional part of music, of going to different people, and my immediate start was an internship under Mr. Ranjit Barotji, the great drummer, at his studio, Nirvana Studio in Mahalakshmi. Almost immediately after 12th standard ended, during June of 2014, while I did enroll, of course, into the IDOL, I started there also at Ranjit Ji's studio, and yeah, it just everything just fell into place. It was a natural transition. The decision had been taken only of leaving college after 12, or at least leaving the idea of going to an institution on a daily basis and completely going into music. So, of course, it was importance of having a degree in hand was always considered, which is why I did externally also get arts degree.
That's a beautiful thing. I mean, it's just that learning continues. I'm reminded of a quote that I read in one of the articles of Tawfiq Bhai himself, who's written that people very proudly say that they belong to X university or Y university, but I'm proud of the fact that I'm from Ustad Allah Rakha University.
Correct.
I think that is so big. I mean, it's so true that you guys are the only pass outs from that university in the form of people who are actually taking his name forward. Of course, your family is really big, and there are a lot of people who've learned from Abaji, but you are the people who are carrying it forward. From here on, I want to also ask you, both of you have been very blessed with guidance from Viku Vinayakaramji. So how has it been, especially Tawfiq bhai, for you, Abaji and Viku ji? You've had two of these stalwarts. What have been your experiences with both of them?
See, for me, I was always, like I said, attracted to different rhythms, right? When I heard this band Shakti, famous Shakti band, where Vikuji was a very integral part of that band,
Yeah.
I was fascinated by the sound of the ghatam and the whole philosophy of South Indian rhythm.
Yeah.
And then I realized when I grew up and when I went ahead in my career and I started collaborating with musicians, whenever I would uh, collaborate with a South Indian musician, I would feel that I'm falling short because I couldn't understand a lot of their things like this quickly.
Right.
You know, it's a very different whole
System.
sector is very different.
Genre
It is music, it is Indian music, but it has its own color, it has its own philosophy,
flavor,
its own soul, which is very
Yeah.
different from the North Indian classical music.
Yeah.
So I couldn't grasp many things, you know, how the korwais come, how the nadais are going, how the chants are moving, you know, and and what are the different things, like how we have kaida, rela, chakradar, tukla, ye, udhar kya kya hai. I wanted to know all that because whenever I would collaborate with the South Indian musicians, I realized even the melodic guys was so rhythmically strong, you know. So I
Correct.
said, I want to study this. I don't want to be falling short when I'm collaborating with somebody, you know. So
Love.
at that time, I had started touring with Zakir Bhai in Masters of Percussion, and Vikuji was a very important part of that
Correct.
Masters of Percussion tour. So for me, it was like, okay, I think, you know, the whole ocean is right here. Why am I trying to go out somewhere else? So I told him, and I kind of requested to him. He said, yes, I will teach you. Because we've seen him from our childhood and he's also seen us
Correct.
from our childhood. He said, okay, I will teach you.
Correct.
So that's when I started learning the South Indian philosophy of rhythm. He didn't teach me how to play Ghatam. I mean,
Right.
it's another thing that I took his Ghatam technique, one of his techniques onto the djembe.
Right.
But he started making me understand what is the whole philosophy of South Indian. And for that, I'm very
So did you go to?
because he
Did you
opened
go to
my
Chennai?
eyes. He didn't tell me, he didn't teach me, these are the number of korwais. This is, no. He started making me understand how korwais are made,
Right.
how you can improvise in the nadai, how you can take a chant forward. You know, what are the different things of how to understand the concept of 3, 5, 7, 9s or 2, 4, 6, 8, how you go in even numbers or odd numbers. How do we, basically they're saying numbers, right?
Right.
So if there is a number of 96, how do they divide 96? So in that 96, there can be a, there will be a mohora, first a Korappu and a mohora, and then how it will go into a korwai. So that 96 gets divided into them. So
Wow.
it's all a game of numbers. That's why they are such great mathematicians, South Indians.
Yes.
Correct.
Because of all this, because they are actually doing maths. In the North Indian, we are doing arithmetic, but they're doing arithmetic and they're doing maths.
And
So
Wow.
I started understanding that thing, you know, and then things became very simple for me, not simple, but easy for me to grasp. Whenever I would play with some South Indian musician, if they go into a korwai, even if I don't know it, I will immediately grasp where they are going into. You know,
kya baat.
so that's what.
So this thirst for different kinds of knowledge, I'm sure that runs. I mean, you've been having it, but probably runs in the family. I'm sure it runs in the family. And one observation, Tawfiq bhai, if I may, is that Abaji's entire style of music of the tabla has a different kind of sweetness to it, madhurta जिसको बोलते हैं ना, वो that in the tabla he brought that madhurta, and all of you are carrying that forward. Where did that come from? I mean, if you hear Abaji playing and you hear another tabla player playing, there technically it may be the same, but you find that Abaji's style is sweeter for the ear to listen to. So
I think that is something which he got. कहते हैं ना कि वो ऊपर की देन है, वो अल्लाह की देन
correct.
है.
क्या बात है.
उनका नाम ही अल्लाह रखा था.
Absolutely.
क्या बात है.
तो जिसको अल्लाह ने रखा.
I know that is such a beautiful video. So I'm gonna ask everybody who's watching this to, once this is done, please go and watch that video. You'll get goosebumps. It's such an amazing video.
Because the name Allah Rakha means जिसको अल्लाह ने रखा.
जिसको अल्लाह. Ashwini Kai has also sung that.
वो उनको ऊपर से ही मिला है, वो जो उनका sound है. He was born with it, I think. And he was born into a family which there was no music connection for generations.
Correct. He was the first in his family.
Dadas and pardadas were farmers or either in the army, soldiers.
And he ran away from home.
He ran from home at the age of 14 to learn from Mia Kadir Bachchi, the Royal of Punjab Gharaana. So I'm saying that वो जो sound है, even Zakir Bhai says many times, used to say, is there certain balls, the way Abbaji plays, I cannot play it like that. Because that tone, वो खुदा की देन है.
Yes.
सही है.
वो कुछ ही लोगों को मिलती है. मतलब हर इंसान को कुछ अलग मिलता है. उनको वो साउंड मिला है कि उनका हाथ जब लगता था तो वो चिपक के लगता था. It was like not loose. It was like that, So वो चिपक के जो लग के जो साउंड आता था ना का था तिरिकिट ऐसे निकलता था उनके हाथ से. It was like what, when the first time he went abroad and he played with Pandit Ravi Shankar ji, somebody came backstage and he said, show me your hands. Somebody he said, where are the machines? My father was like, he didn't know English, so Pandit Ravi Shankar ji said, वो पूछ रहे हैं आपका हाथ में कुछ machine है क्या? Playing my hands. So it was like as if it was a machine playing.
Wow, he's made himself into that level of proficiency.
वो ऊपर वाले की देन है, खुदा की देन है.
Absolutely.
हम लोग इसमें कैसे आए?
I know. Shikarnath, I'm going to ask you another a question that many children would like to know from you. So, okay, this I hope your dad is not hearing. Okay, this is like a secret question. Who troubles you more, dad or mom?
No, there's no trouble as such.
It's the other way around.
Oh my God! Now we're going into the other direction. Parenting workshop happening, counseling happening, where बच्चा trouble करता है. No, I'm not going to believe you, Tawfiq bhai, if you tell me this young lad of yours is troubling you. Impossible to.
No, not me, but you should ask Gitika.
Gitika. Okay. I'll have a long chat.
You see, moms, dads. Dads are dads, moms are moms. See, I'm his father. Baba, he calls me Baba. But I'm also his guru. So I get spared. But which is Gitika, she does not get spared. So if you want to know who he troubles and most, then you should ask her.
Okay. Right now, I asked him who troubles you more. So he's being very gracious and saying nobody troubles me more.
Diplomatic.
So, Shikarnath, what is your time, other than the riyaz or the work that you do, how do you spend your time? What do you like to do?
Apart from the actual playing part, there's also a lot of listening to music, and I do music programming and music production also. So especially in the last few months, since obviously there's no concerts happening, there's been a lot of that kind of work of programming and producing stuff or doing rhythm arrangements for different artists' songs. I've learned that also, and I'm still obviously learning a lot when it comes to music production and music programming. It is a different field. It is music, but it's very different compared to playing rhythm and playing drums and playing djembe. Producing a track rhythmically or even melodically is quite a different ballgame. So I do that also a lot to a great extent for myself and a lot of other people also.
Lovely. And what is your absolute chill activity which has got nothing to do with music, what would you
Oh,
be
that
doing?
way.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, I follow cricket also. Whatever little cricket is happening currently, and I've always been following cricket. Yeah, apart from that,
Do you play
apart
as
from
well?
music, sorry.
Do you play as well? Have you played cricket as well?
No. As a kid, maybe like just
तौफीक भाई
during
वो
childhood.
स्टोरी जो है अब्बा जी की वो क्रिकेट वाली है ना जाकिर भाई के साथ.
Yeah.
There are a lot of stories about. I mean, I think everybody is very fond of cricket in your family. That is.
Well, as a child, even I was fond of it. He's not played so much. He, as a child, would sometimes go down to play. I think he was many times. He just was more connected to his studies and music.
Wow.
So he would spend time school after school. There was very few times he would go down to play with his friends. He would be more connected with Riaz even as a child, and later onwards, so he would once we got our music room when he came into college, he would spend a lot of time here. Even now, from home he leaves, especially now in the lockdown, he comes here by 3:34. So he's practicing here. At least that's what I'm thinking he's doing,
Oh.
because he's here till 10:30, and then he comes home. So
Wow.
he has his dinner late. Because his dinner is late, then all the other activities after that become late. So it's a very late night that we have, but I guess we musicians are used to it.
Yes.
Used to it. Correct.
And so right now, Shikhar, when you are doing riyaz, how much of which instrument do you do riyaz practice? Do you do djembe ka bhi riyaz, table ka bhi riyaz?
Both djembe and drum set, predominantly djembe and drum set. Sometimes the drum set goes more because that is still relatively much newer to me compared to the djembe, because I been a year now. I've been playing the proper drum set in the traditional way with the foot kick. You know the way drum is, what the actual drum set is.
Right.
So yeah, but and also like I mentioned, there's been a lot of programming and music production work also that a lot of for different people such as Purban ji and Kaushiki ji. Been working with them on their tracks, which are releasing and will be releasing soon also. So yeah, it's in this lockdown period. So it's been pretty much that only, practice and programming, and it's good to have a music room also where it's very helpful when it comes to working on such stuff and having a space to practice and all. So yeah, that's all that's been going on since the lockdown.
Give you that space of your own. It's true.
Before the lockdown also, that was only happening, except that there was a lot of practice with other artists and going to other artists or other artists coming here and practicing, which obviously has not been happening since, and maybe might start happening now soon, but there's a lot of time for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the only difference, that practice with other people stopped to a great extent.
Wow. So we're going to come to a last few questions of our interview today and our Zenversation today. It's been really, really zen. We've enjoyed listening to everything that you've been saying. But now moving to your art and to your craft. And Tawfiq Bhai, you have, I mean, you've aced in so many. I was reading about you. Obviously, I was reading from the website itself. And you've won some amazing awards for your ad work, for your work with the film industry as well. But what I would like all of us to get a little more information about is this concept of in and out breath. That is so amazing. And two, about Mumbai Stamp, because Mumbai Stamp, many of the children may know, people may know about it, but how did that idea come about? I mean, where did you think of something so amazing?
Well, like I said before, I have always tried to evolve myself as a musician, try to do something new. At least from my side, I can say I'm trying to do something new. Whether it's new or no, I always let the audience decide. I'm not one of those people who's going to say, I'm doing something new. Today I'm presenting something new. No, I'm presenting something. Whether it's new, that audience will decide. Better. It's like, this reminds me of a joke that once my wife said to her husband that, darling, what should I make? Should I make biryani, or should I make pasta, or should I make whatever, something else? He said, darling, what you make something first, then we'll give it a name. तो पहले से बोलना मुझे पसंद नहीं है, पता नहीं क्या निकलेगा, मैं बोलूंगा कि मैं कुछ नया कर रहा हूँ और पता चला मैं जो कर रहा हूँ उसमें कुछ नयापन किसी को नजर ही नहीं आया। तो दूसरों को डिसाइड करने दीजिए कि नया लगा ही कि नहीं लगा है। और ऊपर वाले के आशीर्वाद से हमेशा जब भी मैंने बजाया है, जेम्बे है या कुछ भी मैं वॉइस का करता हूँ या ड्रम किट कभी कभी जो मैं बजाता हूँ, हमेशा अब्बा जी के आशीर्वाद से और मालिक के आशीर्वाद से मुझे हमेशा लोग आके कहते हैं कि आज हमें कुछ अलग सुनने मिला है आपसे। मेरा हमेशा एक इवॉल्व होना, कुछ नया करना, उसी में मुंबई स्टैम्प आ गया। बिकॉज मैं एक बार बात कर रहा हूँ मैं 2001 की, when I was in the US and Zakir bhai said, अरे देखो ये एक बैंड है स्टॉम्प करके, उनको जाके सुनो, बहुत कमाल है। तो मैंने उनके बारे में पढ़ा था कहीं, I had read about it. I said, oh, of course I'll go. So I went and I saw and I was blown away. Stomp is a band which predominantly performs on trash material. You know, big bins, buckets, and dustbins and plastic and everything. So I was very impressed with that band, and I said, wow, I must have something of this. You know? And after some years, couple of years later, I said, okay, I want to make a band. So I made a band, but of course, I wanted to call it something. You know? So I said, let's call it Mumbai Stamp, because we are Mumbai. Stamp means chap. Or stamp is also when you stamp, you get a sound. So I said, okay. But of course, I didn't want to imitate Stomp, because that music is different. I don't want to do that.
Right.
I wanted something of my own. So I said, Mera kya hai? Mere paas kya hai? I have the North Indian and the South Indian classical rhythms. So I said, let's define these rhythms in a different way. And also, I've been very influenced by folk rhythms of Maharashtra, of Gujarat, and also I said, let's Punjab. Let's take all these rhythms also, and play a groove of Punjab and get into a chakradar, get into a korwai. So people will enjoy the grooves, but we'll also give them all this kaida and chakradar and korwais and tihais and all that. So that's what Mumbai Stamp is all about, and Mumbai Stamp has featured in many film songs, predominantly the Dhoom Machale.
Yes.
That song, and of course, what is that? Let's Rock My Soniye from Bhool Bhulaiya, and then many film songs of Pritam, and then Bhool Bhulaiya, and then also Bhag Milka Bhag, and then Zokomon. There was a film by music was by Shankar Ehsaan Loy. So the title song of Zokomon is full Mumbai Stamp. So Mumbai Stamp is become, and then it became popular in corporate shows, corporate launches and all that, where the corporates wanted, the event guys wanted something different. So Mumbai Stamp is, the fact that we come on stage with buckets and bins and all that, but itself it looks different. And in India that concept was not there.
Yes.
So this whole concept started with me, with bringing in Mumbai Stamp in films and then also in corporate circles, and now I can see that it's happening a lot.
Everywhere, yes. And also a little bit on your in and out breath, because that is something I didn't get much to read about, and I really would like to, like you to share it with all of us, because I think the concept is very profound, I would say.
Well, it's something which I've been influenced as a child. I would hear a Panchamda doing Duniya Mein Logo Ko. So I was like, what is this? So whole day I would be doing as a child. So that, I guess that became like a daily riyaz for me. And as I went ahead in my career, I realized that I can actually modulate my breath and do this. I can create this rhythm using the in and out breath. So, and I realized it was a very unique thing to have it in my repertoire. Whenever I would do that on stage, people would really like it, and they would be like, what are you doing? This is what is this not beatboxing? What are you doing? I said, this is my boxing. It's not beatboxing. It's my boxing. It's coming out of my box. My boxing.
Vocal box.
With
My boxing.
Yeah, can you share something with us? Because that was really the next question. Then how is it different from beatboxing? Can you share it? Can you
No,
show us something?
beatboxing is, you're trying to do the drum sound. This is beatboxing, trying to uh, make the sound of a cake and a snare and a hi-hat. Also maybe doing some bass line. So I can do all that. It's not that I can't do all that. But I don't want to do all that because that is being done a lot.
Yes.
I mean, if you go to America, there are beatboxers on the streets and everywhere.
Yes.
What I decided was, because I was touring US also, I said I must do something which even they should feel like, what is this? So I started doing the breath. I started doing the, Punjab ka apna. I took this element. In fact, I've used this in a very big way in that song from Bhag Milka Bhag, Havan Karenge, Havan Karenge.
Right.
Yes.
That whole thing is me doing all these mouth percussions. So I took that element, and then I took the Chuan monks doing. Taking this sound, the breath, the Punjab ka this thing, and उसका पूरा एक mishmash बना के मैंने अपना ही कुछ बनाया. And whenever I would do this, especially in the US, a lot of people would come back and say, sounds like beatboxing, but what are you doing? I said, that's what. If it is sounding different to you, then it's not beatboxing.
Wow.
It is something of my own. It is something of my own. It's a mishmash of elements which are coming from India. So
do you also use you also use the pure classical versions in that?
Sorry?
Do you also use the pure classical?
Yes. Whenever I'm doing, whatever I'm doing, it is always classical.
Oh.
Because that is the only music which I know, which I've learned.
Wow.
So even if I'm doing my breath, I'm in my mind, I'm saying dhati dhage na dhati dhage na dhage te na ge na dhati dhage na dhage. So I'm doing just that.
Wow.
Because classical music or folk music ही मुझे मालूम है और मुझे कुछ मुझे मालूम है.
Wow.
Although I have listened to a lot of music, and like I said, I've self-learned the djembe also. I know African rhythms also. I can do a lot of things. I know what African rhythm stands for, but I don't play that because I'm an Indian. I want to play the djembe, because the actual pronunciation is djembe. The way they say it is djembe. I want to play the djembe my way because I love this instrument. But what I know is the tabla knowledge. So I want to define that onto this.
Wow. So I'm going to come to the last part of our evening. I don't want this to end because there's just so much we'd like to talk. Because, I mean, it's just like not finishing. I have 5 pages of questions.
Frankly, I'm like a kid in a candy shop.
Yes.
Really? Really?
Itna पूछे
I mean,
क्या
let me tell you, if you lick us, you're not going to like it.
No. We want to just.
We don't taste sweet.
No. I think you're going to be extremely sweet too. I mean, we are enjoying every word of what you're saying. But I want to now go to my last round, which we call the 10 Zen fun questions. And in your case, for your interview, we are going to call this round Dear Djembe. Okay? And we are going to ask questions to your djembes. Okay? So, whatever it is, yeah.
You can see it?
No, we can't.
You
can orient the camera a little bit so that we can get to see your dear djembes. And oh, wow.
Right.
Yes,
now you ask.
Yes, I will be asking. And
let it answer.
You will be helping djembe answer it. So, I would like the djembe to tell me, dear djembe, how do you sound when you are extremely happy? If you can help djembe make that sound.
Okay.
Okay. you were right about the sound. It's
No sound.
when it goes faster, it doesn't come out. Well, anyway, how would
Okay.
the sound?
Okay. A different happiness. I'm saying let's explore a different happiness.
Happiness.
Huh?
A different zen.
No sound again.
Yeah, wow, fabulous. It is another sound, but again, we're losing your. No, actually, I want to tell all of you here that Tawfiq Bhai warned us about this happening, and we were not aware of it, unfortunately, that the
No,
sound
I'm saying-
would be choppy when the
Yeah.
jete begins. And that is unfortunate. Okay, so possibly then, Tawfiq Bhai, would you be able to do it with your in and out breath? Maybe if the djembe is not happening.
I don't know. Can I? I mean, the djembe actually would have been, but I
Would
don't
it
know
be
what. I
so
mean,
perfect?
I just did the in and out breath.
Yeah, so in and out breath, if it was okay, let's say you're speaking on behalf of the djembe. Unfortunately, the djembe is not being heard. So how would the sound of happiness be on the djembe? Wow.
Let me try.
Yes.
What will be the sound? I don't know. We can do this. Anu.
Yeah. Better.
Better?
Yeah, wow, much better.
Okay. So I'm just trying out.
We are all trying out. This technology is really becoming a big this thing for all of us.
Thing na, for all of us. Yeah.
Question for all of us.
So, what is your question? What is your question?
So the questions are, I'm going to, this is something that I'm calling djembe motions. So DJEMBEMOTIONS, djembe motions. So how would a djembe sound with happiness?
With happiness, it would go like.
क्या बात है?
Wow.
How would you sound if you are extremely restless?
You should ask him that.
Go, okay, yeah, you go. Top,
Yeah.
Restless soul.
restless.
Reckless.
Why is that happening? Wow, we saw you, but yes, you're right.
Was that audible?
Not really.
No,
Why
it's
is that
not.
happening, Tawfiq Bhai? Why does this happen? Why wonder? I mean, why it's picking up the voice sounds? It's not picking up the
So,
instrument sounds.
see, Zoom is basically for audio media. It's not actually for musical performances.
Yeah.
So
it doesn't
meeting,
recognize
it's,
instrument.
we can talk as much that will register, but it's not as such meant for.
What it does is any instrument which it comes, it recognizes that it as sound, as noise.
Oh,
Right.
And it cuts that sound.
So noise cancellation.
Yes, kind of.
happens.
Cancers. Oh, that's a pity. Okay, I'm going to just ask you one final question here because I loved what I read about this thing. So it says, according to the Bambara people in Mali, the name of the djembe comes from the African saying "Anke je Anke be," which translates to everyone. I mean, which basically means Anke je and Anke be. Everyone gather together and gather in peace. What a beautiful, I mean, I did not know this. Everyone gather together in peace and defines the drum's purpose. In Bambara language, re is the verb for gather and be translates as peace. Tawfiq bhai, what would be your signature tone for this, for a djembe, for Zen? Because we are talking about Zen, so we're coming full circle, and our Zen conversations today are coming to a closure. What would be your Zen tone, if you could share that with us through your voice? I mean, I know the djembe is unfortunately not.
You see, basically, I have devised many tones on the djembe to incorporate, the tabla, the pitwa. So I would have demonstrated that, but you will not be able to hear it because it will just come as noise and noise cancel.
Yeah.
So there is, I see, there is a dha. So in the djembe, I have devised this sound which comes as a dha, but it's called dhe.
Hey, okay.
Dhe.
Oh.
THE. Okay.
Or so for me, whenever I hear that sound dhe, it gives me a lot of peace. You just said djembe.
Wow.
So the
Kya
be
baat hai?
is the peace. And for me,
Kya
the
baat.
sound he is actually a very peaceful sound. When it is combined with other sounds, then it still maintains its peace quality. Even if it's used in a very fast way with other syllables, it still gives the feeling of peace. The he. It's always a feeling of peace. So for me, one of my favorite tones for the djembe is center, right? Like a dha. I call it he.
Hey, wow.
Kya
Thank
baat hai?
you. What a lovely, lovely, lovely explanation. I'm going to ask you to please help us with some answers of some questions that people have asked. So, somebody is saying that can art be learned? Do you really think art can be taught, or does it come as something that is from within? You know, because you've come from a family where it's come to you in a way we could say genetically passed down, but can art really be learned?
Can art really be taught?
Yeah, taught and learned, and can.
Of course. There are so many schools and universities that are teaching music. So yes, music can be taught, of course. But there are basically what they say, हमारे इसमें बोला जाता है कि संगीत का थोड़ा सा कुछ एक रुदारीपन अंदर से आता है, which comes from within you. That soul sometimes to present the music in a way which can sound soulful. That comes from inside. That cannot be taught.
Yes.
That you have to experience, and you experience all that by listening to the maestros and trying to find your own path, trying to find your own way, and through all that you experience life in various ways, and that's when you try to define your music. Then sometimes it can come with that soul. So that cannot be taught. But yes, music can be taught. I'm teaching music. By the way, in this lockdown, please, whoever wants to learn djembe, please join us.
Yes.
Yeah,
In
of course,
fact, I would be saying that because Tawfiq Bhai himself has an amazing academy called Ridhun. In fact, you must have seen it on the poster. So where can they connect with you? Please
Yes,
tell us. And I'm sure there'll be a lot of people who
it's called Ridhun. It's called Ridhun Academy of World Rhythm, ROAR. I call it ROAR, R-A-W-R. So we roar, Ridhun Academy of World Rhythm. And we are teaching through this beautiful school which has been started by great maestro Niladri Kumarji. It's called TFR, the Foundation Room. So if you go on their website, you will see there are various classes by various artists. And I'm one of them who's teaching djembe. So if you are interested in learning the djembe my way, please do join.
Wow. Yes, and not on Zoom. I know you can't do anything much on here. All right. So that kind of brings us to the end of this evening, and it has been an amazing evening. I know my cousin, who is an artist, has been around and creating. So, Mayuresh, are you around? If you can switch on your.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. And I've shared with you Tawfiq
You
ji
have,
is.
would you like
Yes.
to share? So Mayuresh
Yes.
is my first cousin, and he is an urban sketcher who lives in Pune.
Okay.
And of course, that's just one of his this thing. He's also himself an architect, an interior person, a exceptionally talented artist, and he's created an
Namaste
artwork.
Tawfiq ji.
Namaste ji, namaste. How are you, sir? Good to see you.
सर
So-
हमारी सर मी तर एकदम मजेत आहे. इनफॅक्ट ग्रीन पार्कच्या बरोबर समोर राहतो मी.
ग्रीन पार्कच्या समोर आता तुम्ही का कुठली बिल्डिंग?
सुंदरबन अपार्टमेंट.
अरे वाह वाह, क्या बात आहे. सो नेक्स्ट टाइम मी आलो, मी पुण्याला आलो की आपण ते बाजूला भेटू. आपला कुठला तो रेस्टॉरंट आहे ग्रीन पार्कच्या बाजूला?
ला प्लाझिरला.
Oh my God, small world.
World is a small
Small
place.
Mayuresh, let's
Tawfiq
see your
jinचा
artwork.
तौफिक जींचा सासर आहे.
Oh,
Sure, but तौफिक
सासर आहे.
जींचा सासर आहे तिथे.
it is my in-laws flat over there, and when we go there, we stay there sometimes.
Wow.
Yes.
So, oh, wow. Let's have a look at what he's created. He creates this a different style of art that he creates. There, that's, oh,
अच्छा,
okay. So
बड़ा
that's,
screen में तो लाओ.
sorry?
तौफिक जी, you see it?
He wants to see it in a big screen.
Yeah, he can just, he can pin it, you get to see it more closely. Wow.
How can I?
Wow, that's oh wow. Oh, क्या बात है.
Yeah. He's into sketching, and he told me, "Hey sis, I'm not so good at people. I draw urban sketches." I said, "No, but this is something special." He said, "I'll be there. Don't worry." He's given us our gift this
Wow.
year on our anniversary, and so here's another. So this is our gift for you, Tawfiq bhai. Whenever we meet, we shall make sure this is well framed and gifted to you as a small
Oh,
token
this is
from
lovely.
Atman
Thank you so
Academy.
much. You can send it to me through that whatever that thing is,
Yes.
courier and all. I would love to have it.
Yes,
Thank you so much.
I will speak with Mayuresh about this, and we will see how we can get it from Pune to you.
काय नाव त्यांचं नाव, तुमचं नाव काय? मयुरेश or महेश?
Mayuresh.
Shiroi.
मयुरेश जी, मी तुम्हाला माझा ऍड्रेस पाठवतो, तुम्ही मला कुरिअर करा.
Lovely. We'll get it done, sir. We'll get it done.
Get it done. Thank
Wow,
you
lovely,
so
lovely.
much.
That's so nice.
Sir,
of
it's an
you.
honor. It's a
trust-
complete honor for me.
We both are trusting, Mayuresh. Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Tawfiq
So-
bhai, thank you so much. Shikarna, thank you
It
so
was
much.
very
Thank
nice
you.
meeting
Thank you so much.
Such a lovely
It's a great,
evening.
great honor.
And next
So,
time,
and I wish we could have played for you all something, but unfortunately, उसका कुछ फायदा नहीं होगा. So
I know,
next
sir.
time we connect, let's connect through Google Meet so that we can
Done,
perform
sir.
for you also a little bit. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Done, sir. Done,
thank
done.
you.
Thank you,
so
Prasad.
much.
Thank you, Shikhar. Thank you,
and
sir.
all the full Atman Academy gang. Thank you very much. Namaste.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone who's been with us this evening. Thank you for joining us.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye bye.